Okay, so you're building an AI project. Let's talk about one of the first and honestly most important decisions you're going to make, choosing your foundation model. Now, this isn't just some techie detail you can gloss over. No, this is a huge strategic choice. Get it right, and you're golden. But get it wrong? Oh boy, you could be looking at blown budgets, terrible performance, and, well, a whole lot of unhappy users. So let's figure out how to nail this decision from the get-go.
Seriously, everything hinges on this one decision. The user experience, how much it's going to cost you, what your final product can even do, it all comes back to this single choice. So the big question is, how do you make sure you're making the absolute best call right from day one?
You know, a good way to think about it is like picking an engine for a car. The engine you choose is going to decide how fast it goes, how much fuel it guzzles, and whether it can handle a bumpy road or just a smooth highway. Well, in AI, your foundation model, that's your engine. And it has a massive impact on literally everything else.
So where do we even start? Well, the first thing, and I mean the most fundamental question you have to ask yourself, is what kind of data are you actually working with? This leads us straight to a super important concept called modality.
So what is modality? Put simply, it's the type of data the model understands. You can think of it as the language your model speaks. Is it fluent in text, images, audio? You absolutely have to match the model's native tongue to the data you're feeding it. It's like the most basic step one requirement if you want to get anything useful out of it.
And you can see just how practical this is. Let's say you're building a tool to summarize business reports. Well, you're going to need a text model, right? Or maybe you're trying to flag inappropriate photos that users upload. That's a job for an image model. And if you're transcribing call center conversations, an audio model is your only real choice. It's pretty straightforward. The job you're doing tells you what modality you need.
Okay, so once you've got your modality figured out, the next stage is all about trade-offs. Yep, you're going to have to do some balancing. You'll need to weigh what's most important across a few key performance areas because, and this is a big one, you can't have it all.
And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? Choosing a model isn't about finding some perfect, mythical, best model that does everything. No way. It's about finding the model that has the right balance for what you need. It's all a big negotiation.
First up in our balancing act is latency. So what's latency? It's just a fancy word for speed. How long does it take from the moment you ask the model a question to the moment you get an answer back? Low latency means a super fast response, and for a lot of apps, that is absolutely crucial for a good user experience. Just look at these examples. If you're talking to a customer service chatbot, you want an answer now. Any delay feels clunky and frustrating, so you need low latency. But what if you're just running a huge analysis on some data overnight to get a report ready for the morning? Who cares if it takes a few extra seconds or even minutes? In that situation, you can absolutely sacrifice some speed for other perks. Okay, next on our list, model size and complexity. These two really go hand in hand. We're basically asking how big and how powerful is this thing? As a general rule, a bigger, more complex model can tackle tougher jobs. But, as you can probably guess, all that power comes with a price tag.
And this lays out the classic trade-off perfectly. Are you looking for a smaller, more efficient model that's quick to deploy and cheaper to run for a pretty simple task? Or are you trying to solve a really complex problem that needs the sheer horsepower and potentially higher accuracy of a giant model, even if it's going to require a ton of resources? All right, another thing to think about is input and output length. This is pretty simple. It's how much stuff you can feed the model at one time and how long of an answer it can spit back out. You'll often hear this called the context window.
So why should you care about this? Well, think about it. If your app needs to summarize, say, a huge legal document, or if it needs to understand a really long, detailed question from a user, you have to have a model with a big input capacity. If you pick one that can't handle it, it's not just going to be slow. It's going to fail, period.
Okay, so let's say you've picked your modality, you've figured out your performance trade-offs. What's next? The final step is all about getting that perfect fit. It's about taking a general model and tailoring it so it fits your specific needs like a glove.
And that's where customization comes into play. With things like fine-tuning, you can actually teach a pre-trained model all the little details of your specific world, your industry jargon, your company's private data, even your brand's unique voice. It's an incredibly powerful way to make the model way more relevant and accurate for you.
But of course, there's a catch. This kind of power doesn't come for free. Customization can be expensive, needing a serious investment in money, high-powered hardware, and people who know what they're doing. And you've got to be careful, too. If you train a model to be too specialized in one thing, it can sometimes forget how to do other things well.
And the last major thing to think about is multilingual support.
This one's pretty easy to grasp. Can the model handle more than one language? I mean, in today's global market, for a lot of companies, this isn't just a nice to have, it's an absolute must-have.
And the real win here is efficiency. Think about it. If you pick a model that already knows multiple languages right out of the box, you save yourself a massive amount of time, money, and headaches. You don't have to train a whole new model for every single language you want to serve. It's a huge time saver.
All right, we have covered a ton of ground here. We've gone through modality, all those performance trade-offs, and even how to fine-tune your model. So now, let's pull it all together into one simple framework you can actually use to make a decision.
And here it is, your 7-point checklist. It's pretty simple, really. You start with modality. What kind of data? Then you just work your way down the list, hitting all those performance and tailoring questions. If you go through these one by one, you go from being overwhelmed with options to having a clear, smart, strategic choice that you can actually defend.
And that right there is the main thing I want you to walk away with. None of these choices happen in a bubble. The decision you make about speed, it's going to affect your costs. The decision you make about model size, it's going to affect performance. It's all connected, and really understanding how those pieces fit together is what makes the difference between a good decision and a truly great one.
So now, I want you to think about your own projects. Look at that list again. Which one of these 7 points is going to be your biggest headache? The trickiest one to balance? Is it going to be the need for insane speed, or that deep desire for customization, or is it something else? Because look, having the framework is great, but now the real work begins when you start to apply it.